right, so we're going to be talking treasury bills and bonds. Now, for many Ghanaians, investment is synonymous with treasury bills. Now, this investment type has become the more popular and preferred investment type for a large number of very risk-averse Ghanaian investors. Right now, while many people would rather like to go in for treasury bills, very few understand how it actually works. Okay, and if there are any risks or whatever is surrounding it. Moreover, T-bills are also becoming hot cake in Ghana today because of the increase in the interest rates. Now, today we're going to talk a bit deeper into the whole, concept of how T-bills work, if they're a good investment for you, especially whether you're working as a regular salary job or you're, sole proprietor, running your own business or whatever it is you're doing. Whether this works for you. Talking about inflation and everything else around it. All right. So we have to help us get into this conversation, the CEO, Group CEO of Data Bank, Mr. Kujo Adai-Mensah. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I don't like the atmosphere here at Citi this morning. This afternoon. It's such a somber.
It's a somber.
Somber. My favorite DJ is Charlie. She crashes bomb. Oh man. Yeah, I hope by the time I leave here, I would have giving you guys some.
I can already feel it coming. I can feel it coming already.
I hope I would have given you some. But my condolences, honestly. My condolences to the whole Citi family. In fact, this is a whole Ghana matter. It has really hit all of us very, very hard. But the good Lord knows best, as they say. There's always a reason for everything that happens. So my condolences. But let's
thank you.
Let's try and pump up the volume.
All right. So let's just talk about what are treasury bills.
Essentially, they are I would say they are short-term, low risk instruments that's less than 1 year, the tenor of it, that is issued by the government. So what it is that government borrows from its citizens, not only its citizens, but for bills below 1 year, I'm aware that it's restricted to Ghanaians. It's those that are more than a year old that the foreigners can. But essentially, it's government coming into the market to borrow to finance its projects.
So when you buy treasury bills, what you're doing is that you are lending money to government.
Exactly, you are lending money to government at a certain
interest rate,
and then you're expecting your return over a certain period. Now, for T-bills, the tenors are essentially 91-day bills, or 182 or 364. So those are the three blocks that you would have for those under
3 months, 6 months,
and
a
1
year.
Yes, and the 1 year is calculated at 364 days, not 365 days.
Okay.
That's how it's calculated. So
interesting.
And each tenor has different rates, and currently I think the 91-day bill is hanging around somewhere 26.7%. 182, which is the 6 months, is at 28.3, and then the 364 is at 27. It should not be entirely so. I mean, I don't want to go too technical, but under normal circumstances, the shorter the tenor, the lower the return should be. So the longer the tenor, the higher the rate should be. So that what we call the yield curve is normal. Currently, our yield curve is looking a bit funny, but listeners should not focus too much on yield curves and whether it's inverted or not inverted. That's not why I'm here. I'm just trying to break it down. But under normal circumstances, that's how it should be. The longer the tenor, the higher the rate should be, because you are putting your money in for a longer period. Yes, but even though it's low risk, but you are risking it because anything can happen. Events happen. Look at what has happened in the last few months, or weeks. So let's say, and let's say I locked in a 1 year paper sometime in February at say 22, I think it was, or something like that. The person who just did a 3 month paper would have a maturity sooner than I would have, and they will have the opportunity to take advantage of a higher interest rate. So there are pros and cons in it. Wow, that's how it is.
Okay, so how the interest rates determined? Who determines those interest rates?
Good, very good question. So what it is that the government has an issue calendar. They have a fair. Everybody knows every week they will come into the market with a certain amount that they have in mind to borrow. Then those of us who lend, of course, you, David, and I, Kojo, we would have taken our 100 CDs, 200 CDs, 500 CDs through a broker or through the banks.
Yeah.
And then they would go for what is called the bid. So they are coming with a certain amount of money to the market with a certain expectation as well. It's very with a certain expectation. Okay, so we're coming here for the 91-day government. We think we can lend it to you at say 25 or something.
Okay.
Government to look at what it needs to do, how its repayment structure is, and say, no, this bid I think is too high. We can't take it. So there's some. I want to say there's some jaw of sorts, and then government will take what it can take at the price it can
That's
take.
been offered.
And so usually at the bids, it's not every time that you, the one going to lend to government, you get what you want, and it's also not every time that government will get exactly what it's also expecting. But at the end of the week, there's an agreement, and then you see what is published in the newspaper.
Okay. Now, there are quite a number of investment vehicles available, like in Ghana and then globally. But I realized that TBills are very popular in Ghana.
First to market, I mean, until 1990, when was the stock exchange established? Yes, until 1990. Pretty much the only investment available, really low risk investment, slow but sure, was Tbills.
Okay.
So that's what like everybody knows. I mean,
Okay.
if you go and talk to my dad, who is like 80, I mean, yeah, he may have heard of other options, but his default
Treasury bills is the thing.
T-bills. So that is how we have, grown and developed. Yes, other instruments have come in, other asset classes have come in, but it will take time. I mean, T-bills have been with us for over 100 years, right?
Whoa.
Of course, banking has been with us for that long. So as for treasury bills, they've been there forever, and they are low risk.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's perceived government. I mean, and it's also perceived that a government can never fail, even though
Governments
there are cases where
Yeah.
we know that governments have failed. Argentina has failed. Venezuela, I think, has failed. Sri Lanka is on the brink. So governments can fail, but the general accepted principle is that governments don't fail. So that's why it's so popular. People like it. It's short term. They tell you the rate. You know how Ghanaians, we want guaranteed rate. Okay, if I give you the money for 3 months, how much will I get?
How much?
If I give, not that our fancy ones that we have now developed that they say, I can't guarantee you, but it depends on market conditions.
I know.
Ghanaians don't like that. But I will encourage Ghanaians to mix and match. Yes, T-bills, that's the standard. That's what everybody likes. That's what everybody defaults to. But that's the reason why they love it so much.
Now, the maturity periods you spoke about, the 91 days, 182, is it? And then 364.
Yes.
Okay. Explain what they mean specifically.
Good. It's a good thing, because a lot of the time people think that when you are quoted, you are 91, in a 3-month treasury bill is at 26. People think that in 3 months they will get 26%. No, it is 26% per annum. Thank you.
Okay.
So it is like a pro rata.
Yeah.
So let's say let's say if the return is 30%.
Yes.
For example, you need to divide, and you are buying the 91 day. You need to divide that thing by 4.
Okay.
Okay. You need to divide it by 4.
The 26.
The whatever rate, 26, 30, whatever, you have to divide it by 4 to get what you actually get
at the end of
3
the
months.
Okay.
So we quote in per annum, but we calculate pro rata. So any time you hear that they are saying, okay, the 91-day bill is this, note that it's not after 3 months, because when I was in commercial banking, we get cases where people come and say, but you told me that it's 3 months bill, I'll get this. They calculate 26% on 100 CDs and think that in 3 months they should get that. No, you should break it and then apply that interest rate to it. So that's how it works. And then for 182, you break it into 2. You understand? But for the 1 year, it's the 1 year.
Okay.
Then
So
at the end of that 1 year, you will get what is called. Well, it depends. It depends on what it is you want.
Okay.
some people are not sure. Maybe they will need the money soon, so they just want to park it somewhere.
So it doesn't just sit.
For me, best to do 1 year. Yes, that's for me. But if you have some that you want to do, then if you go and buy the 1 year and you can't wait till 1 year, you are taking the money out before the 1 year. You suffer penalties. That's
true.
Some grave penalties. So depending on what you want to do, 91 day, 3 months you go. If you are the time has come, 3 months has come, and you are still not ready to use the money, you can always roll it over. So you can reinvest both the principal and the interest that you got, or you can invest only the principal again and go and chop the interest, or I mean, you can do whatever it is you want to do.
So let's make it a little visual for our listeners. So if you have 100 Ghana cedis, and you're investing in treasury bills, if I get you right, if I have 100 Ghana cedis and it says 26% per annum, and I'm investing it for 91 days, what's going to happen at the end of the 91 days is that instead of getting 26 Ghana cedis, I'm going to get 26 Ghana cedis divided by 4.
That's it.
Which is like 6.5.
Yes.
So I'm walking away with 6.5 cedis.
Yes.
On
After
the 100
3
Ghana,
months.
After 3 months.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's how
it works.
Okay. That's exactly how it works. And then and then there's the power of compounding, which always comes in. That 6.5 that you got, you can then add it to your 100 that you have. Then you go another 3 months. So you earn more on the 106 rather than take the 6 away.
And then stick with the 100.
Which is what most people do. They stick with the 100 and then walk away with the 6.
So you lose the effect of compounding interest.
You lose the effect of compound. So I always recommend that try and roll over at least some 2 or 3 so that you can get the benefit of compounding. It works very, very well. I mean, compounding is a very, very effective way of growing your money.
Of course, compounding is the way we're talking. When we talk about, you remember last time Gillian was here, we were talking about how many years. You say if it takes 15 years, you want to try and reach 1 million CDs or 500,000, whatever. It's the compound that makes the multiplier effect.
That's what it is.
You know, that affects the money. Okay, great. Now, government, typically you hear they're coming out to issue bonds from time to time. What are those?
So bonds, let's say they are, to simplify it, I'm just simplifying it in the minds of people. It's still borrowing from government. I mean, it's still borrowing by government. You're still lending to government. But this time, the tenors are more than a year. So Ghana has 2-year bonds, 3-year bonds, 5-year bonds, 7-year bonds, and I think 10 and 15-year bonds as well. So, and that is where foreign participation comes in. You get to hear people saying that the foreigners have come in, bought the bonds, and now it's due, matured, and they are taking the money out, and it's pressurizing the dollar, blah blah blah. But actually, the data that we are looking at in recent times suggests that the local participation in bonds, because of the pension funds, has overtaken foreign participation. That's what the data shows. So it's not as a few years ago, true, it was more foreign participation than local, but the pension funds have really put a lot of money in government bonds, such that the local participation has overtaken the foreign participation.
I see. Okay. And so would you consider, or should our listeners consider them as a good investment move?
Oh, of course. I mean, you see, investing, I think in this series we've been trying to educate people that there's no right or wrong answer. You always have to ask yourself the necessary questions. What is it I want to achieve? What do I want to do? Over what period do I want to achieve this? What is my risk appetite? What is the extent to which I can wait out shocks like what we are having? All those questions you need to ask yourself. So there's no good or bad. So T-bills are good. Bonds even better if you have the rights, what it is that you are doing, because and that's why pension funds will invest in a 15-year bond or in a 7-year bond, because it's patient. The money is not expected to be going out over a very long period. So you are working now, you are 40 years old, you have a tier 2 that a trustee would go and invest the money on your behalf. They would naturally go in and buy a 15-year bond. But by the time you are retiring, that bond is probably maturing. But we trade the bonds anyway. The bonds are also tradable. So you don't, when you buy a 10-year bond, you don't necessarily have to wait all that 10 years for it to mature before you can get rid of it. You can also sell it. So there's a market for that. So it travels a certain period. You can also sell it to another person who will then buy it and then hold it out for the remaining period. But the thing with bonds though is that the interest, let me put it simple, the interest is paid twice a year. So you get your semi-annual interest. It's not like the 91-day bill or the 182-day bill
at the end
is paying. But this one, every half year, your coupon will be paid to you. Your interest will be paid to you. That's how it works. So while they are paying you the interest, so that one there's nothing like rollover, blah blah blah. So while they are paying you the interest, the main principal bond that you bought is there. That is there, but they'll be paying you your interest, So it depends on what it is you want to do with the interest as well.
Considering where things are going with economy these days, is investing in T-bills still a smart move?
I mean, really, what's the alternative? Corporate bonds, which are you will expect a higher return, but a much higher risk. And even that, there are not many corporate bonds out there right now. Or lock the money up and put it under your pillow. No, I think investing in T-bills is always not a bad idea. I can understand. Look, we are experiencing some levels of inflation and depreciation that we haven't seen. In my personal opinion, I think 99 or 2000, 2001 thereabout. That's when inflation has really crossed 40-50% before. I mean, Ghanaians shouldn't make it look like
it has never happened.
It has never happened. It has happened, but it's not. It doesn't mean that because that's happened again, it is happening. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm trying to say is that it corrects. The situation will correct. It's a matter of time. Somebody say, but how long? But it will correct, David. There's no doubt in my mind. And when it corrects, your CDs will be in an investment. It will be earning something. For now, inflation is really whipping the T-bill rate, no doubt. But it corrects, and in a short period of time, the T-bill rate still then overtakes. But I'm very confident that it always corrects with the measures that will be put in place.
All right. Now, I know that at Daisy Bank you have mutual funds.
Yes.
So you have EPAC, you have mutual funds, you have balance fund.
You are on
top of your game, sir. Have you been to the office?
Listen to us long enough.
I've been hanging around Data Bank. So how different are mutual funds from T-bill?
Fantastic question, Dave. Fantastic question. So here it is. Here's what it is. So let's stick to T-bills for a moment. So, and T-bills, by the way, I think the minimum you can invest in a T-bill, I stand corrected, I think it's 500 CDs. That's the minimum. I don't think there's the 100 CD one that they tried for some micro thing, but let's put it that there's a minimum you have to invest for T-bills. So you go into a bank or you come to an investment house like Data Bank and you want to buy T-bills. So you buy a specific bill and you know that you bought 500 CDs and that's my T-bill, and I walk away with those days with your certificate. But these days not anymore. It's all technology based now. At the end of the period, whether it's 91 day, 182 or 364, you get your specific return on your specific. Now mutual funds are different. Mutual funds is a group of, let's say it's a group of people. So all these shareholders, so all of us here in the studio, you have 2 CDs and there's usually no minimum with a mutual fund. So you have to, so let's take M fund, even though you mentioned M fund, EPAC, ARC fund, B fund, Eddy fund. All the funds have what they invest in, but let's stick to M fund for a moment. So you bring your 20 CDs and she brings her 5 CDs and I bring my 3 CDs.
Okay.
You see the different amounts.
Yeah.
So then the fund manager puts all that together, totaling say 300 CDs. Then the fund manager can decide what it is that they are going to buy with the monies that they've put in. So M Fund as a box, you see M Fund as a basket. Well, can have some 91-day bill, can have some 2-year bond, can have a 1-year paper, can have. So you have left that flexibility to the fund manager to do what is best with the monies that you have. So the mutual fund is a product, all right. I mean, in fact, actually, it's a company, but let's say it's M Fund is the product, all right. But it is a basket of different assets in that basket. Whereas if you've gone for a TBill, you've bought a specific. Okay. So there's a lot of flexibility around the mutual fund. First of all, there are no minimums. Secondly, there's no time frame per se. If you come for M Fund, we will tell you that the recommended minimum holding period is 3 months. It's just for you to be able to at least get some benefit out of it. But when I'm preaching mutual funds, I always say you can bring your money on Monday and Friday you can come for your money. Simple. You can just do that. You know, without, let's say, for M Fund, without penalties per se, but you would definitely not have earned what it is that you are expecting to earn in that short period of time.
No, but if
if
100 CDs will give you 6 CDs 50 pesos over 90 days, then over 1 week they send
and we all at least at Data Bank we've always strived with M Fund to beat the 91-day bill. You know, that has been the objective. So that is a major difference between what a mutual fund is and what a treasury bill. And that I always love that flexibility where at any time you have money, you can come and put money into the mutual fund anytime. So if you are a by-day worker, every day you can walk into Data Bank or use your *6100 hash and then bring something every day. You know? So it gives people flexibility, and it gives you the ability to go in, come out. And the fund manager too has the ability to look at the economic environment and make whatever changes they need to make when things are shaking. Whereas if you are locked in here on the TBill, you are locked in. You can't do anything until
it's done. The maturity period is over. Okay, now it sounds like good times for people wanting to invest in T-bills because it's 26% at the moment. I remember a time it was about 33, 35.
We've been there before. I'm old enough to know that we've been there before.
You know. So should people go and remove all their money and put into T-bills now?
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. No.
Okay.
Whatever it is you're doing, diversify. I mean, it's always good to have some T-bills, some mutual funds. If I was talking academically, then maybe some corporate funds, some corporate bonds here, and some equities. Now you can buy some stocks. It's always good to diversify. But I mean, I'm not talking theory right now. I'm talking practical right now. Ghanaian situation, that what you hot. They say when I come to Citi, so it's always good to diversify it a bit. And the situation in which we find ourselves, have some T-bills, yes, but have some mutual funds again, because you never know when you need some money that you can always quickly dip your hand into, rather than having to wait for maturity.
What does it mean when we talk about inflation in terms of its impact on like the bills?
Yeah, you see, of course, everybody wants. I mean, inflation. What is the academic definition? But is the rate at which the price of goods and services are going up. So everybody wants to make sure that when they put money into some investment, they can be ahead of the rate at which prices are going up. Because if, let's use your example, if you invested 100 CDs and you were expecting that at the end of 3 months you get 126 or 106, all right, and to go and buy a certain product that was 104. So you knew that over that time frame, you would get the money that you are requiring to go and buy that thing. So if the inflation is going faster than your investment, then the price will be
changing the market
170 by the time you're ready. So that's the impact it's having. That's why people are very, very disappointed and very worried that their investments are losing value. So then why don't I go? Some people say, why don't I go and buy dollar car and then just park the money? But it's also a risk. I mean, I heard about some documentary recently. I'm told even the Momo agents are now being attacked, So you go, you buy these dollars, people are standing the scene,
you carry this money to your car,
it's not safe. It's not safe. So I won't advise that at all. But that's the impact inflation is having on the investments right now. But as you can see, with the numbers, inflation is at 29. The 182-day bill is around 28. The treasury bills are sort of catching up with inflation. And like I tell you, it always corrects over. I mean, I don't think we'll still be, I hope not, be in this situation come January. I really hope that by January things would have corrected. Yes.
Okay. So we have a question here on the TBill discussion. How is it that the rate is less than the inflation rate?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that it's an outlier. This is not the norm. Our inflation movement between January to date, I think inflation 28% is not the norm.
Then
something is fundamentally not
out
right.
Of order.
And normally your T-bill rates would be a step or two ahead of the inflation rate. We are not in a normal situation. We are not in a normal situation.
Okay. And this one is asking, how much is the penalty that one if one should liquidate?
The T-bill discount rates, the penalties, I don't have the exact figures here. I just know that it's hefty. I just know that
it's supposed to be prohibitive.
It is prohibitive. That's the whole point. Because so the technical reason here, so they can use borrowing rate of the banks as a yardstick. So this is what it is. You came to buy T-bills from me, right? And you said that it's for 1 year. So I knew that the bill would be for 1 year. So I've gone and bought the government. I've lent it to government already. Government has taken the money away. But then less than 1 year later, you have come that money, you need it. So essentially, I have to go and borrow money.
Borrow actually.
Yes, I have to go and borrow money at an interest rate to give to you.
Oh, wow.
So you have to pay for that
for the one that I'm going to borrow.
That is, so he can use that the lending thing as a ballpark figure.
All right.
But it's very prohibitive.
Okay, let's wrap up with this question here. How many treasury bills can a person buy?
As many as you want.
Really?
Yeah, really. Well, I don't know. At least at Data Bank, our software can handle it. Some maybe the organization you may buy from or the firm may not be able to handle. So software comes in there, but you can buy T-bills as many as you want. We have clients who have 10, 15 different bills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but sometimes we try to consolidate it for them a bit so that managing it is easier. But you can have as many as you like.
How do people come over to you guys?
On phone 0302 610 610 0302 610 610. Of course, we have 20 locations across the country. We just opened our latest one, co-locating with GT Bank in Wa. So we are in Wa, we are in Sunyani, we are in Takrady, Kumasi, Tamale, Takwa, East Legon, Airport, Tema, Ashaiman, all over. We *6100# is our USSD. You can get us online, www.databankgroup.com, and we are out there. You can reach us anywhere, anytime.
When I think of Data Bank, I think of my national service days, walking around the national service.
61 Bounce Road. I always think close to the National Service Secretariat. That's where our head office is, 61 Bounce Road, opposite the museum. You
always do.
But when I started working there, we were at Pension House now.
Wow.
As far back as 98.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been great.
It's always a pleasure. It's always great. The time goes so quickly.
I know,
right?